This flowering currant is just amazing. It was by the front gate when we first moved in, and then they don't last that long actually. They're quite a short-lived plant, and it's just moved itself around the garden, so this year it's here. It's hilarious. It's beautiful though, isn't it? Every year I panic thinking I've lost it because I like it so much, and then up it pops somewhere completely different. Let's see where it ends up next year. So here is a quick update on my patio pot Cerinthe. Doesn't it look lovely? I thought it would be a nice contrast to go alongside the tulips. Just something a little bit different from our patio pots. And they're basically free because they were just left over from the plants I grew to go in the garden. So I thought a patio pot would be really nice for a change. Just something a bit different. All that lovely foliage, and the flowers are just on their way. You can see they're standing up really well. Pleased with that. Here we have my glorious ranunculus container. So it's just got 3 plants, and you can see I've chosen different varieties. So it adds a little bit more interest. We've got interest from the foliage as well as the flowers, which are coming. So just 3 plants, and if I step back, oh, look at that. Isn't that just incredible? And it's not even flowering yet. Cannot wait. So you can see, you can grow ranunculus just as well in a container as you can in a polytunnel or greenhouse. It's just marvellous. All you've got to do is keep it frost free, because the frost will burn the foliage and we don't want that. It could also damage the buds. So I'll pop it inside tonight and then bring it outside again tomorrow. But if it's not frosty at night, it can stay outside now, as long as you've got it used to it first, as long as you've hardened it off. I thought you might like a quick look in the greenhouse. So I've just watered everything. Now the sun's going down, and you can see the agrostemma is doing beautifully. It grows so much quicker than the autumn one, doesn't it? So these will flower about a month later and be just a tiny bit shorter, so that's fine. And then these are the snapdragons, and they need hardening off so we can put them out in the garden, because they're going to walk themselves out at this rate. They are looking absolutely magnificent. I cannot wait for this year's display. Incredible. And then up here we have got the late winter started ranunculus. It's doing really, really well. It's going to be faster than your anemones if you're doing both at the same time. The anemones take so much longer, but freakily they flower quicker once they do get going. Here we go. So here's my anemones, and you can see that some of them are only just starting to break the soil surface, where others have been up for ages. So be patient with them. If you've got no sign of life, take them indoors just for a couple of nights. Look, see, it's coming. Take them indoors just for a couple of nights, and then you'll find, as if by magic, they all start popping up. And then here we have the butterflies. Again, some will be quicker than others. Who knows why? I've done these in a 15 cell tray. It's not really enough room, but I was a bit tight for space, so I'll have to move these on quite quickly. But I've still got a couple of weeks yet, so there's no hurry. So these are the butterfly ranunculus, and there is just 1 plant per pot. They are absolutely magnificent. Just look at the sheen on these petals. Can you see? Just glistening in the sunshine. They look just magnificent with the tulips over here. It's just such a different shape. If I come round, you can see their tower above the tulips. 1 second. There we go. Look at that. Look how much taller they are. That looks beautiful, doesn't it? I think I'm going to fill a patio container, one of Neil's containers, with the butterfly next year, because they just look so good. This is my big tin bath. That soil looks a little bit dry, so I think what I'll do is I'm going to give these a feed as well. If you want the bulbs to come back, it's best that the plant doesn't take everything out of the bulb to grow. So a little bit of tomato food will give you the best chance for them to come back. Obviously, planting them in the ground is the best way to get them to come back. And you'll remember how many years I've been showing you this exact bed with the tulips in it. 10 years, probably. So plant them nice and deep, and the fancier they are, the less likely they are to come back. And then a little look from this end. Look, the grape hyacinths have naturalised so much they're in the path now. I don't mind. They can stay there, they look nice. Look at this. Lovely, lovely. Peonies are just going bonkers. So like I've said before, they are different varieties, so they flower at different times. So these are earlier flowering than these ones, for example. We've got a whole selection of them here. Look at the size of this one. Look at that. Pride of place. We'll be planting around this soon. Taking off the hoops and getting going with the garden. Get rid of those crates first. They're not much of a feature. You can make even the smallest corner look beautiful. We don't get an awful lot of sunshine over here, so I've got hellebores for the spring and hostas and ferns for the summer, and these lovely bulbs. I don't mind a little bit of shade, so I only get sun at this time of the day. Looks fantastic, doesn't it? God, it's such a stunning day today, isn't it? Incredible. This bright bomb actually looks really lovely next to the fever butterfly, doesn't it? That's a real match made in flower heaven. Now there is something new in the polytunnel every single day. Look at the colour of that. Absolutely superb. Wow. It's quite big as well, isn't it? That flower's huge. We have done so well today. We've taken advantage of the weather and planted out the larkspur. So these are not larkspur, no, these are the snapdragons. They've now taken their place under the cold frame. Look at that branching. You can see there where I pinched out the snapdragon. So now we're going to get more stems and more flowers. And then here are the nicely hardened off larkspur, ready under Neil's frames in their final flowering positions. I thought you might like a quick look at what we've already planted out. So these are the sweet rocket. Look at that one. So these have been here a couple of weeks in their final flowering positions. We have left a space here for the Ami Bisnaga, so that will go out the moment we get a chance. And the Ami Majus, here we go, and the cornflowers are already making their way through the first layer of the fence. My goodness me, look at the poppies. So now it's raining, they'll get a lovely drink. They're looking super, super healthy and green, aren't they? Just loads of them, rows upon rows. And over here, I thought you'd like to see the agrostemma. So don't worry about them dipping their heads slightly. That's completely normal. If you've got your support in place, that will help them. keep straight as soldiers and flower for you beautifully. My bulbous onions are looking absolutely spectacular. So these are the first to flower, and if you look carefully you can see the buds of the next flush of flowers just below. But for the time being we get to enjoy these. Don't they look lovely together? Really nice. This bed looks like it's grown about a foot in a day. Wow. It's going to look so good. Just different things to look forward to in different places at different times. Just so not everything comes up and then goes over together. That's the idea. Here are the colour change stocks, and as usual I've used my 40 cell tray, so they will stay here until they're ready to be potted on just once and then planted out in the garden. Now these are the colour change stocks, and if you look carefully you can probably see the colour change already happening. Now they need exposure to the cold nighttime temperatures in order for this colour change to happen, so make sure you don't mother them too much. And you can get quite a lot of plants in this 40 cell tray. So if you do want to separate and remove the singles, you've got plenty of plants to choose from. I'm useless, I tend to keep both. Never mind. So you'll notice I've given them a top dressing of compost because the compost was a little bit dry. So this top dressing will help keep the moisture in. And I'm just going to give them a water from underneath for about half an hour to rehydrate the cells without getting any splashes of water on the leaves, which could burn in this hot sunshine.